but that was the only time I ever took a finger in the butt. Anyways, today we're going to discuss Furious 7, the final role of Paul Walker and Vin Diesel stars in this movie. And The Rock's in it too. So, Aiden, do you want to give a brief plot synopsis of the movie?
How deep do you want me? We'll touch on it. So, the plot of the movie is that there's a bad guy who's killing the
played by
Furious.
Jason Statham.
Yes, Jason Statham is killing the Furious squad. Yep. Starting with an Asian guy who I assume was in Tokyo Drift.
An Asian guy. Spoiler alert.
And then he tries to kill them, and they try to kill him. And
then they have African people that come in, some because he owes them favors.
There's some kind of terrorist.
Who, like, a lot of it, I would assume, like, the plot didn't make sense to me, but I feel like if I've ever seen another Fast and the Furious, I would get it more, because...
Probably, yeah.
Because it seemed like it took elements from, like, Tokyo Drift, 5... Like, I know the names of all these Furious and Fast movies, but, you know... But, so it was Furious 7. What did you think about... Well, that's about it. And then Jason Statham would show up at, like, random times. Like, it's because he's got God's eye or whatever the fucking device they had was. But Jason Statham was awesome. But let's go on. What did you think about this movie?
Well, I was actually just about to bring up the Jason Statham part.
That was, like, a good part, though. I was going to say that for my favorite part.
Jason Statham had this thing called the God's Eye, but they didn't really explain it that well.
No, they had the God's Eye, but then Jason Statham somehow got a hold of it, but they didn't know that or something.
They didn't explain it really well. I don't
understand.
And so as an audience member, I was fairly confused, which made me laugh incredibly hard. Twice. At first, they're in Africa they're in Africa trying to save this hacker girl. And,
no, that wasn't in Africa. They were in the jungle, like Brazil or something.
What?
They were in some Middle East. Oh, wait.
I thought that was in Africa.
Oh, yes, that was Africa. No, that was... Yeah, wait. Oh. They were in Tokyo at some point, and they were also in the Middle East, too. And they were also some...
Well, before the Middle East, they were somewhere with jungles. And the hackers in this armored bus, and the Furious 7... try to get her out of the bus, and then out of nowhere, Jason Statham drives out of the woods, gives this smug smile, and starts ramming all the cars off the road.
Yeah,
and it was just utter bewilderment, like, how did he know? But then later in the movie...
Can I make a comment? But, every time, I want to point out, too, that thank you for finally letting me get something. But I want to point out that every time Jason Statham showed up, it would always jump to this one shot where it would be like Paul Walker or Vin Diesel. It was usually Vin Diesel, but Vin Diesel would make a face, and then it would jump over to Jason Statham doing a smug smile. So there was one point where they did like a chicken battle, like he's driving down the road, and then Jason Statham stops him and walks out of his car and does like this smug smile, and Vin Diesel's like, "Never bring a gun to a street fight" or something like that, and then they start fighting or whatever. And then, like, the FBI comes. And then, like he said, the Africa scene where he does the smug smile. There was a scene in Dubai where they do it. He's back in Seattle. They're fucking everywhere doing he does the smug smile shot every time. And you're just like, Jason Statham's character is a douchebag.
It is hilarious.
And it's awesome.
Do you want to talk about the ending?
Well, I guess. At the end, they do this thing where it's kind of cheesy, but like basically they do a send off to Paul Walker where his character's playing with his kid or whatever, and they decided that it would be better if they didn't kill him, which I think is kind of a clever idea because like it would just kind of be depressing if you kill off the main character because his real life thing died. So I think they kind of wanted him to live on. But it had, like, really cheesy lines, like, the cast, like, knew that he was dead, like, in real life. Like, it wouldn't be something you're saying, like, if your friend moved away, it wouldn't be like, we're friends forever, no matter what happens. And, like, all these really cheesy lines that are, like, he is dead. And then, like, Paul Walker drives off in the other direction, and he's in, like, a white sports car and shit. And, like, yes, it's obviously a send-off to the other actor, and, like, if his character was retiring... and Paul Walker just didn't want to be in the movie and they did it, I think it'd be cheesier than it was. But obviously they didn't want to do an ending where it's like, and Paul Walker's character dies. Just like, they didn't want to shoehorn that in. They wanted a somewhat happy ending for his character. So, I mean, it was cheesy and it was just kind of a cast send-off. But I mean, for anyone who actually liked the series, I didn't think it was all that bad because it was like, it was just supposed to be a send-off to this guy, his character, and to the actual people, because apparently the cast of this movie is allegedly pretty close. So it was cheesy, but I thought whatever about it.
The other things I didn't understand, and I'm sure that it's something that was brought up. Well, first there was the Vin Weasel's girlfriend had amnesia, and they didn't give any background on that. I assume that happened a few movies back.
Well, they said 2009, so I think that if you looked up what Fast movie came in 2009,
yeah.
I'm guessing it was 4 or 5.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
Probably 5. But then there was also there were 2 black guys. There was Ludacris and the other one. I don't know his name.
Is he in Expendables? Maybe no.
No,
I thought they had a second black guy in Expendables that was like not.
But the one black guy doesn't actually do any driving. He's like a weird comedy relief character for no reason that they bring along for no reason.
Yeah, he does really nothing in the entire movie.
They all parachute out of a plane in their cars, and they force him to parachute out, and then his car gets stuck in a tree, and they just leave him.
No, it's floating weird. He's like, I don't want to drop my car. And like the guy's like, they're like, that's fine, you don't have to. We'll get you later. And it's like, why did you do that? That was just douchey of them, you know. In all honesty. Because they're like, yeah, we don't need you for the mission, but we're fucking assholes, so don't worry about it. But no, I don't know. I guess, like, this was, like, really, really kind of a weirdly paced review. Because you did, like, synopsis.
The movie itself was, pretty much what you'd expect of it.
I mean, it was just a big action movie.
I had a little more fun with it than I thought. And
let's be honest, for what it is, like, you gotta consider, like, there are scenes, like, in the first opening race scene thing that they have, just to remind you, it's a Fast and the Furious movie, like, it would be, like, a shot of them, like, revving their car, a shot of the car, shot of a chick's ass, like, it's obviously, like, a film that's trying to exploit, like, you know, like, I feel like just like the semen was gathering in my balls, you know, watching the movie. And that's how you were supposed to feel. Like, you're supposed to, it's just a testosterone. It's not supposed to make any sense. You just want people to shoot shit and drive cars and jump their cars out of airplanes and shit.
And jump their car between buildings.
And for what it was, like you can't expect it to be like this deep movie if you're like, oh my god, I thought Fast and the Furious was going to talk more about, like, human nature and stuff. Like, what the fuck, man? It didn't even talk about, like, the complex thoughts that Paul Walker has. And compare it to real life.
No, I knew it wasn't going to be like that.
I thought it'd be like Holocaust.
I knew it wasn't going to be like that.
I thought it was going to be all one continuous shot like Birdman.
Connor, shut up. I thought it was going to be like a really dumb action movie. Like I thought it would just be like shitty boring like the new RoboCop, where it just felt really soulless. But I kinda enjoyed myself.
I didn't hate the new RoboCop, actually. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't terrible, if that makes any sense.
Anyway, I kinda had fun with the movie. I really liked Jason Statham. I don't feel a lot towards the movie overall, though.
To be honest, I thought it was an action movie that had nothing special to it, and I just thought, like the movie wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. If you were supposed to take the movie seriously, The Rock wouldn't have flexed so hard that he could destroy this rock-hard cast. I forgot about that scene. They didn't take it seriously.
That scene was
The Rock's character walks in like a cheesy fucking superhero. Like, I compared it to, like, Inspector Gadget when he walked out there. Like, he talks to his daughter, he's like, give me fist. give me fist bump.
And then he picks
up
a minigun from
make sure you make your bed, Daddy'll be home at 7. Then he, like, ran out and he started killing people. It's like, these movies aren't. This movie isn't supposed to be taken seriously. If it was, it wouldn't be in there. So for what it was a pretty decent action movie. It wasn't supposed to have much to it, and for that reason, it was good. Okay, I guess let's do favorite part and least favorite part.
My favorite part was Jason Statham appearing out of nowhere constantly, and giving a smug asshole smile. My least favorite part, I have two. One is that Kurt Russell looks like he's fucking dead. And the other is at the end when Vin Weasel dies, and they stop giving him CPR, and his girlfriend talks him back to life. She's like, stop giving him CPR! And then she's like, I love you, baby. I'm not dying. If you die, then I'll die. And then he comes back to life, and I'm like...
And he's like, I wouldn't want that to happen. I was faking it. Does anyone want the shawarma?
Pretty much.
Okay, my favorite part, I'll be honest, was different than yours. And I'm usually less general with my favorite parts than you. My favorite part is when The Rock flexed his cast off. That was legitimately the greatest part. Like that's basically like the critics. I doubt any of the Fast and the Furious movies have gotten over 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I would be so fucking surprised if one. Maybe Tokyo Drift got like 40% because I think that's widely considered the best. Maybe that one hit like 40%. Maybe number one, because it was original, hit like 30%. But my honest guess is like those movies probably get terrible scores. And basically, that Rock flexing his way out of that was just like,
God, that was so
like that basically proved the people making this movie could literally give a shit what the critics thought. Like okay, give it a rat. Toss a couple of Razzies our way, fucking tell us we're a shitty movie because we don't do it in all one continuous shot and shoot it in a fisheye lens so Emma Stone looks like a frog, you know? Like, they don't feel like they need the shitty, like, elements to it. Like, they don't even pretend it's good. Like, even Transformers tries to pretend it's good once in a while. Like, we're supposed to care about the... Like these characters are fucking invincible. Like you could tell from the start. Like they killed off the Asian guy because he didn't want to come back. Like I'm sure he would have been alive and fucking well if he wanted to come back. But he probably didn't. So they're like, okay, whatever. We'll just kill his character off so the villain seems more serious. Like that is the only reason anyone died. The whole time you're not supposed to be scared for these characters. You're supposed to be like you're just supposed to be like, Vin Diesel, fucking kill that guy with your car!
Don't forget the part where they shoot down a drone, and The Rock picks up the minigun from the drone. And he like, carries it around with him, and shoots fucking planes out of the sky with it. I was like, holy shit.
No, and then, the other part, when him and Paul Walker get in the car and they're driving building to building, they literally smash through one building to the next building to the next building. Like, hold on, this is gonna be a bumpy ride. We have no brakes, and we're fucking hitting solid windows with this car that Vin Diesel was able to lift with his arms earlier. It's supposed to be cheesy, and that's the awesome part. It's like, who gives a shit?
They specifically say that not only is the car the fastest car in the world and has a supercomputer in it, but the car is also fully bulletproof and invincible, and they're jumping it from building to building. Oh my god.
No, but The Rock too, it's like The Rock is like he's in the hospital and he's in the slings and stuff, and it's like he's in no condition to fight. He's like, I can't just see my brothers going through this alone. Rah! And he just flexes the cast off and he's completely healed. These movies are fucking cheesy, and they don't even... That's the best part about the movie, is it's not self-conscious about being cheesy. Like Vin Diesel wants it to win, Best Picture, and, I feel like he was joking because I feel like everyone involved just knew, these movies are shitty. They're not supposed to be good, and it's kind of, deal with it. Because the people who were there, you gotta judge a movie on people's enjoyment of it. People enjoy Transformers, despite how shitty those movies are and shit. And, we were in a packed theater at the second showing. It was a 7 and a 10 showing, first day. Theater was packed, and every time anything happened, there would be clapping, cheering, The Rock, fucking flexed his cast off. And, I don't think I've seen a movie theater that has clapped or cheered as much as when The Rock fucking flexed his cast off. I fucking clapped.
every time a girl showed their ass, there would be at least one person that would just go, woo!
Yeah, seriously. Those movies are exploitations for fun, and I think especially that's another reason, like the Paul Walker's death thing was, like, they showed a montage and stuff. I thought they did that pretty tastefully too.
The
Like,
montage.
they called the movie like they in the end they dedicated it to him, but it's not like rest in peace Paul Walker, you're dead, as they showed like pictures of like his thing. Like a lot of those movies will do rest in peace, which is fine, but I liked how it just said for Paul, you know, they didn't call, like, it seemed like they all say, like, a lot of the times in like the, like, if you look at the interviews and stuff, they're like, yeah, we were a really close cast, but all the casts say that, but like if they weren't actually close, they do a pretty good job of pretending, because like it was cheesy, that end part, and if like his character was just getting rode out and they're like, Paul Walker goes into the sunset, like, I'd be like, okay, that scene was cheesy and shitty, but like, considering the thing, I think the cast just wanted to do a send off, and the movie wasn't like really supposed to be meant to be anything but fun, and that's why I thought that movie was good. Like, nothing was realistic about that. Like, him and Vin Diesel got in, like, a 45-minute, like, street fight for no reason. Like, Jason Statham and Vin Weasel got in, like, the 20-minute street fight. And this guy was able to kill, like, 1,000 SWAT team members when he wanted to visit his brother in the hospital. It's like, he's not supposed to be not cheesy. Like, it is what it is. And, like, that's why I kind of enjoyed the movie, is because it was, like, it knew what it wanted to be.
So after that, what was your least favorite part of it?
Oh, I forgot to say my least favorite part. My least favorite part, like, the talking Vin Weasel back to life, like, it would bother me more if it was like if I was watching a movie that was meant to be taken seriously, like when the Avengers did it with, like, the shawarma or whatever in Iron Man. He's like, no one kissed me back to life, right? And then it's like, I thought that was cheesy because Joss Whedon's like, this movie's supposed to be serious. That's why they broke their character development to fight and stuff. And that's why half the movie's really boring, where we just sit on the thing. Like, I thought when they did it there, it was meant to be cheesy. Like, that movie's meant to be fun, like, no doubt. But, like, this movie is literally, like, it's an exploitation film of, like, sheer, like, nuttage, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like, you know, I just feel like you're watching it and you're just supposed to, like, enjoy this movie because it's, like, it's supposed to be fun shit. Like, they don't expect it to win an Oscar. They don't expect critics to like it. And they're gonna make another 20 of them. And because these people like making these movies and they like making money. And that's what these movies are about.
Alright,
You know?
so what was your least favorite part now that we've...
Okay, I just wanted to establish that was not my least favorite part. Like, I guess, like, my least favorite part was, like, the funny black guy, because, like, he kind of, like, Jar Jar Binks'd it. Like, I just thought they did stupid shit with him. Like, he could have been a character that was passable if he actually did shit, but, like, he was just, like, on the radio, and they were just kind of douchey to him. Like, he's like, I got a great plan, and they're like, that's a good plan, and then he never did anything again. And actually, another great moment I forgot to mention is they're trying to make plans, and, like the general is like they're like, the guy's like, this isn't tactically correct, and like, as another like another way of showing that they were kind of like, they knew that people just thought this was like cheesy shit, is the scene where they're trying to make a plan, and he says this, like, retarded plan where he's like, well, we're gonna fly cars in the most heavily guarded area, and we'll save them. And then, like, some guy's like, that's impossible, that's not gonna work. And then the general's like, this might just be dumb enough to work. And then they're like, no, I have a plan. And then they just kept adding on to the plan and made it more retarded and more retarded. They're like, what if we had a parachute on the fucking cars, and we drove the cars in there because we're really good drivers? And they're like, what if we crashed another 60 Bugattis in this movie?
You forgot the best part.
And the general's, like, writing down.
It wasn't, this is just dumb enough to work. It wasn't, this is just dumb enough to work. It's so heavily guarded that they would never expect someone to try to land cars with parachutes out of a plane.
No, that's what Paul Walker said. He's like, that's brilliant. No one would expect it because it's so heavily guarded. Then the general, like, looks for a second and he's like, well, I'll be damned. That's the greatest plan I've ever heard. And everyone's like in real life, the general would be like, no, you guys are our last hope, like we've been building you up the whole movie. We're not going to do the most retarded plan in history. We're not going to send the 6 of you guys alone in sports cars, custom-made sport car Bugattis, you know, and we're not going to fucking throw them out of a plane, fucking pray to God that the parachutes can lift you up when you decided to drop 500 feet. Like, this movie was so self-conscious. If you take it seriously and you're dumb enough to think that the movie can't tell it was dumb, then you're a fucking retard, you know? Like, you gotta enjoy this movie for what it was. It's not supposed to be, like a good movie, and it knows it's not a good movie, but it's a good movie to those people that just want to see it. It's like riding a roller coaster, you know? It's not supposed to, it's just supposed to, like, you know, get your balls pumping, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a fucking hot chick! That's fucking sweet that they just jumped out in their muscle cars!
Alright.
That's fucking cool that they crashed another 30 Bugattis!
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The U.S. government in the world of the film probably spent a grand total of about $7 million on Bugattis.
Oh, on Bugattis alone, because one had a Bugatti, one had, like, they all had their own cars. He's like, I want this pimped out Jeep. This Jeep with the body of a Bugatti. And then Paul Walker's like, I want a vintage Ferrari with the head of a Bugatti. I want an armored Bugatti with the Bugatti's Ferrari and a Lamborghini built on top.
Don't forget.
Then the black guy's like, I want a 2011 Camaro. And then Paul Walker had a Prius in one scene.
The Arab's
$20 trillion car that they blew up.
A bulletproof Bugatti with a supercomputer built in that they drove from building to building.
Until it started happening in every scene, I didn't even think to count how many cars Vin Diesel... Because Vin Diesel blew up the most cars. They all blew up a ton of cars, but Vin Diesel easily blew up the most cars. I wish I had count. Because I know Vin Diesel... He crashed the one in his first scene. He blew up the one that he dove down in.
We didn't talk about the chicken scene.
It was
We
probably
touched on it?
25.
So they do a chicken scene.
I touched on the chicken scene, yes. But
Vin Diesel and Jason Statham play chicken with their cars.
Footloose style.
And the scene, like, you're like, which one's gonna turn? They crash head on into each other, and then they get out, and they're like, no guns. Or,
No,
Jason
the
Statham
guy,
pulls out a
Jason
gun.
Statham, no, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham had an armored car, and he gets out, and he waits for Vin Diesel, who's, like, injured, and he's like, you had an armored car, you cheated, and he's like, never bring a gun to or a knife to a gunfight, and then Vin Diesel, like, gets out of his car, and he's like, let's street fight right now. No guns. And then Jason Statham's like, I always bring guns. And he's like, never bring a gun to a street fight or something. They use like that line like 40 times in the movie.
Don't forget, Vin Diesel also had, towards the end of the movie, he had the muscle car that I assume was from like the first or second movie. With the outboard engine that gets. There's a helicopter being piloted by a black terrorist who also controls drones from it, who blows up a parking garage with Jason Statham and Vin Weasel having a fight with two gigantic wrenches on top, and you see Vin Weasel's car explode, and Jason Statham falls and gets crushed by rubble but lives and goes to jail in case they want to use him for the next movie. And Vin Weasel drives his car off the building and, like, scrapes the bottom of a helicopter and puts a bunch of grenades on it, and then The Rock shoots it with a minigun and it explodes. Holy shit, that movie was fucking insane.
Oh, yeah, well, like, that's the thing, too, is you look at other movies, like, okay, let's compare this to, like, G.I. Joe Retaliation and stuff. Those movies also weren't supposed to be deep. And I'm not saying on major plot points, but I'm saying, like, you look at this movie knew it wasn't gonna be good on like a level of goodness. Like, it wasn't gonna be shot excellently. The shots consist of like the most basic shots anyone could do, and then the most dramatic shots they had were ass shots, titty shots. Sometimes they would do like a panning shot while the cars drove. They did gas pedal shots, but other than that, it was like bare basic. Like they didn't expect it to be good, and that's what made it so good. Like G.I. Joe Retaliations, like take the fact that Snake Eyes is fucking jumping off of a mountain and fighting with other ninjas. They're fighting on the ropes for no good reason. Like the whole, and they're like, Jack White's music's gonna play. And like, no, this movie wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. Like, it was meant for the people in the audience to just, like, enjoy. And I don't think I would enjoy it as much without the audience. But it was like watching, like, yeah, I don't know. And you know critics are gonna pan it. It got decent scores, actually, but that was mostly, like, those were, like, the pre-reviews that were probably, like, mainly set up by Universal and bullshit or whatever. But, like... And Paul Walker died too. That probably didn't hurt it. Like, it didn't hurt The Dark Knight's critical success. But, like, you gotta understand, like, this movie, the reason I loved it so much, and, like, I couldn't understand what was going on. I never saw another Fast and the Furious movie.
I was confused.
I played the arcade game, like, twice. Like, I didn't care, you know? Like, when I went into it, I had no investment in the characters. And by the end, I liked all the characters just for the reason that they were all so... Like, it was so over the top. Like, everything just screamed the line, "It's so stupid, it might work." Like, that line...
You know what this movie reminded me of?
What?
This movie was like Black Dynamite if it was shot on modern cameras. That's what I felt like the whole time. Like, they just didn't even give a fuck how bad the movie was. They just threw everything they thought was cool in it.
But yeah, that's the part, dude. It's like watching porn, dude. You don't expect it's gonna be good. This was car porn. This was action porn. This was watching ass porn. Yeah, dude. It was everything. There was no sex scenes either, but you still, you know, like, you wouldn't take your grandma to it because, like, you know, it's gonna come out. It's gonna happen. But, no, point is, Aiden said he didn't like the movie at the start, but he obviously changed his mind. That's happened a few times. I don't even know.
The more I think about it, the more I like it.
Like, the whole time, I was just enjoying the movie. Like, that's the thing about me, is I can understand, like, movies, and, like, I think, like, I enjoyed it more than Best Picture winner Birdman. Like, Birdman was a good movie. But I enjoyed it more because I thought this movie just, it cared about what it was. Like, sometimes when I watched Birdman, I just didn't care because I couldn't relate to it, and it just felt like Oscar bait. And, like, a lot of those Oscar movies, that's a big problem with them for me, is, like, this movie feels like it cares more about its message of ass and titties, you know, and killing shit than, like, some of these Oscar movies and shit do. And that's the thing, is this movie had a real heart. Like, it cared what it was doing. Like, Michael Bay's Transformers movies are money. That's what they are. And I'm sure the other... Like, this is a different director, so I'm sure this guy watched the series, and this is what he wanted to do. So I don't know if the other series is actually, like, this enjoyable.
I think the last few have been done by the same guy.
I think, like, number 1, 2, and 3 were different directors, and then, like there was, like, a trilogy by the next guy, and then it was a replacement. I knew this one's different.
The first, like, 3 were just generic racing movies with lots of ass and titties.
And then 4 was like a...
And then
4
it
and
became
5
like
was like a heist series. And then I think 6 is when they started doing cops and shit. Because, like, you looked at that montage at the end, and, like, The Rock's like, "You're free if you do this," and they did, like, the Rambo 2 plot. So, yeah, I don't know if the rest of the movies have, like, as much...
What did you think about the hacker?
Oh, the hacker lady didn't really do anything, so I didn't care, whatever.
I thought it was weird. Like,
well, that's another moment.
I made a joke about the hacker, because the hacker's a black girl, and I made a joke, I'm like, black people and girls don't use computers. Oh, and then another character in the movie, one of the black characters is like, "That ain't no hacker.
She's a black girl, and she's hot, too." That's what everyone said. Well, like, that's what everyone thought. Like, that's another point I was about to point out. Like, another point. Like, it's so self-conscious. It's like everyone in the movies, like, hot girls aren't hackers. And then, like, there was a line where it zoomed into her tits as they were bouncing up and down. And he's like, "You don't get no body like that being a hacker." And then it, like, jumps back to his face after that. It was
and
just
then she's walking out of the water, and it's a close-up of her ass bouncing.
That's what I was saying. No, it was a close-up of her titties.
No, there was a close-up of her ass, too, while she was walking
No, the ass was when she was walking into the water. Then they were talking about how hot she was. Then she started to walk out of the water, and her tits were, like, wet and bouncing up and down. and he says the line, "You don't get a body like that sitting at home hacking all day," and then it jumps back to him after the body comment. This movie is what it is, and that's why I actually really enjoyed this movie. Like the whole time I watched this movie, and I couldn't understand what the African people were. I understood they crippled Jason Statham's brother, but I didn't understand why he wanted to kill him all this bad. Like to the point where he's like blowing up buildings and doing like ultimate 9/11 just because his brother was crippled. Like they didn't even kill him. He just wanted vengeance that fucking bad. Like he couldn't just deal with killing one of them or killing their families. He wanted a fucking full-on jihad of everyone in fucking America for crippling his brother. He killed SWAT teams to get in. It's what the fuck.
Shit. I looked it up. It actually was Iggy Azalea in the
Yes,
race.
it was. There was a
How did you?
Iggy Azalea fucking likes these movies, and she felt like being in them.
And then they also played "Turn Down for What" when they first arrived in.
Oh yeah. Well. They played like rap music the whole time, like even like the montage where you like the Paul Walker montage where it's like he's dead, like that whole thing. Like they could have just played like really depressing music, but it reminded me of like all those songs about Tupac that they just put his old vocals in, but they like update them for the new song. Where it's just like cheesy. It's like, I might be dead, but I'm still pimping hoes, you know? Shit like that. Like, that's what it reminded me of listening to that. Like, it reminded me of, like I don't know if it was, like, an edit with him and Biggie. I would assume so. It was never put on an album. But, like, there was Big Runnin', where it was, like it was Biggie and Tupac. And, like, two of their songs are put together with, like, clips of Biggie talking about when he heard Tupac died. And it reminded me of that when they're going. I'm sure Ludacris recorded the song, like $50.
I'm sure it was.
It might not have been, but I mean, still, like that's a sound. Like I don't know.
My favorite part of the montage.
Oh my god! And
Ludacris had a huge fucking afro at one point.
No, I have a Ludacris. Like I have a couple Ludacris songs that I got for free on Google Play. I've never listened to him, and I don't know if he's any good. I just never felt like listening to Ludacris.
He's not.
But Ludacris always had like a huge afro. Like, I don't know. I've never listened to Ludacris, so I don't like to cast judgment on something until I've listened to it. Because I like shit that most people don't like, you know? Sometimes. Not sometimes. I don't know. But, you know. Like, Ludacris, I don't know if he was a good rapper, but as an actor, I watched him and I said, that would be a black guy I want to hang out with, you know? Like, he reminded me of my uncle, except white. Like, he looked like Ice Cube a little bit, except skinnier. My uncle looks like Ice Cube, except whiter. But like I was saying, he just looked like a guy like, oh, fuck you, you cock. Never mind about that. He just looked like a guy you wanted to hang out with. Like, what made Ludacris so badass? Like, I don't know. But he was just, like, everything about that movie was just, you know. I guess, also, I want to point out, like, you could tell the parts where it was, like, CGI Paul Walker. And those were, like, the most odd scenes to me. Like, I guess that's also kind of a part I disliked, because, like, it would just be, like, really weird scenes where it was, like, the movie was self-aware that he was, like, dead in real life. So it would be, like we're family forever. Just
everything where his wife is having another baby.
I feel like they added that in later.
All of that was
like
added in later.
Or, I guess, maybe they might have, like, just mentioned, like, I'm having another baby. And, like, it might have just been a point where like she didn't tell him because the plot demanded it. But the other baby was the excuse they used to retire. So I'm sure before it was just, like, I was going to tell him after the action scene before he died would be my guess. And then they had to change that for it. But, like, yeah. Like, I also liked those scenes a little bit, how they just didn't, like, CGI him in. Like, it was, like, his brothers in, like, a ping pong suit. Like, I guess that's kind of cool. Like, at least they got, like, people that actually, like, it was their passion to finish that movie. Like, I'm sure the brothers were like, I want to finish this for him. And that was the cool part to this. It was kind of a good send-off where it was, like, Paul Walker's career, like, he's never going to win an Oscar, you know, but, like, or do anything that was incredibly awesome, but, like, this movie was good in that way. And, so, yeah. What's your final thoughts on this movie, unless you have any more points that we missed, but I don't really have anything else to talk about unless you do.
I'm looking forward to Fast 8.
Yeah. Well, I hope. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, other movies.
Well, they said that they were going to make... Paul Walker said he wanted to do 10, or that they were planning on doing 10 before he died, and I'm sure, like, his death is not going to stop the studio. And I don't mean that just from a monetary sense, but it seems like they all still want to do it, and, like, especially with Paul Walker's family giving him a blessing and shit, I'm sure, like, his brothers will, like, reprise his role in, like, the ping pong suit, like, as cameos or some bullshit, or maybe they'll just never show him again, either way. But, like, it sounds like the future of the series, I'm sure we'll learn in just a matter of days. They'll be like, Furious 7 made $1 billion. I'm like, whoa, my God, Furious 8's coming out. You know? Furious Universe.
I think I've only
I heard there was a Rock spinoff coming out, too.
I saw part of the one where they robbed the train with Micah. And then I saw part of Tokyo Drift, like, literally, probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Well, I think
but-
Tokyo Drift's like 2006, so if you saw it when it first came out, probably.
Yeah.
Because Tokyo Drift was 3, the first one was 2001, so I think 2006 or 7 is probably when that came out.
Yeah. I saw Tokyo
be.
Drift at Tristan's house on his PS2, so...
Oh,
It was a long fucking time ago.
okay.
Um,
Well, the movies are $5 a piece.
Well,
At
you know,
Walmart, they have all the movies. They were advertising them, so I might pick up at like number 1 and give it a watch. Like, I don't know if all the movies are going to be that good, but I think I might actually pick this one up on Blu-ray just because I thought for an action movie, like it's the same thing like what we're trying to do with Butch Nitro. Like, it's not going to be a good movie. Like, it's going to be fucking awful. That's the joke. But, like, that's what I liked about this movie is it's like everything like as a movie maker, I feel like the guy who created this movie, he didn't want to make something good. He wanted to make something that people could enjoy because it was fun. Like,
everyone who
like Boyhood's
worked on
not
the
fun,
movie,
you know?
everyone who worked on the movie simultaneously loved what they were doing and couldn't give two shits about anything.
That's the thing.
It was
and
beautiful.
like the cast chemistry was really good. Like, you usually don't see cast chemistry this good because like the cast legitimately, like, unless they have like this really elaborate deal with Universal where they have to really pretend to like each other, but like you look up Fast and the Furious, like I was looking up Fast 7 news because I was taking Snapchats and sarcastically doing hashtag Furious 7 all week and shit. But like I looked up the news and like Vin Diesel was like, yeah, I loved Paul Walker, and then like I don't remember if it was which actor it was, but like there was one where he's like, I remember the first time I became friends with Paul Walker. It was the second movie we did, and we became mutual friends, or we became friends. We kind of liked each other before because we realized we were fucking the same girl in Miami, and it was just really weird reasons the cast were friends, but it was odd, like, yeah, it was just kind of neat, I thought it was a neat movie. I'm sure by now the critics have probably moved it down to like 2%, and they're like, this movie is nowhere near as good as Boyhood.
It's been hovering around like 75.
Yeah, well that was a lot of the pre-reviews. I'm sure by the time
No, it's still around that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, most people, it's like Paul Walker's tribute was so moving that I had to give this a 7.
Well, that's what I heard a lot, and I kind of figured out, like, as someone who didn't watch the previous movies, I could give more of a subjective review, and that's kind of what I was hoping to do with this video. But honestly, 75% is right around where I put this movie, because I just enjoyed it on the level of, like these people all enjoyed the movie. Everyone who watched it enjoyed the movie. I can't really give it a bad score because it wasn't the most intelligent thing ever. What do you expect? Like, if you expected anything smarter, more clever, or less exploitation in this movie, then you're a fucking dumbass and you're going to the wrong movie. Like you can't be like, why didn't Fast and the Furious respect women better? Like,
You know what
because
movie-
people should go there to try and respect women.
You know what movie is gonna try to do the same thing? Or, well, actually, it's a series, but it tries to do the same thing but fails miserably at it.
What's that?
Fucking Machete.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hate
Well, Machete tries too hard. Like, this is a serious movie. Like, this movie has a serious plot, and people can take it seriously if they want to. But it's like take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Machete's just supposed to be pants on head retarded because it's fun.
goes to space.
Like if they did Fast and the Furious 8, Fast and the Furious goes to space, it would be cheesy. But like,
We were actually joking about that in the theater.
Yeah, we were. But like that would be. I feel like that would be funny though because they would still take it seriously. Like Machete's like, look at this. Isn't this a funny joke? Like Machete takes it as a joke. This movie, if they went to space, they'd be like, this is the next generation of cars, baby. And they have like an armored Bugatti that they're flying through space, and they're just taking it completely serious. And he's like, look at that hot Martian chick, and it's just some oiled up Martian chick like slapping her own ass or something, just like this unrealistic shot. And then he'd be like, you just like, you know, like an alien start clicking and be like,
you know what's definitely gonna
and they'd
happen
be like,
in the next
what are
movie?
you? You want to not interrupt me, quick? The aliens like, and they're like, Vin Diesel's like, I speak alien, and The Rock's like, what did he say? He's like, the only way we can get back to Earth, exhale, is if I beat him in a drag race. And the black guy's like, here we go again, baby! Woo! 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 Then they jump in the car, and they're like, the government's like, here's your space Bugattis. And he's like, I think I can still drive this. And there's really cheesy shots of him like hitting all the gas pedals, and it's like, we're hitting Mach 300. And Vin Diesel's like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And they'd be like, this is how Brian would have liked it. And then they just like go at like 1 trillion miles an hour.
Why is Kurt Russell so fucking old now? Made me sad to see Kurt Russell because he looks almost as bad as Harrison Ford.
Alright. Well, anything else to comment on, really?
No, I think I'm done.
Alright, so what's your verdict on this movie? I think it's kind of obvious.
I'd probably go see it. I liked it. I had fun. It was dumb, but it was fun.
To be honest, I have never seen another one, and I might run, since they're $5 at Walmart, I might run and try like number 1 or number 2 or something. But to be honest, I'm gonna buy this movie on Blu-ray, because the visual effects are really good. It's really nicely like shot. It'll be really cool in Blu-ray. That's like this movie's like, it's not like Get Hard or whatever, where it's like if you want to watch this movie, it really doesn't matter if you're Blu-ray or not. Like I want to see like the water drizzle off that black chick's titties, you know? I want to see Paul Walker as he flips his car 1,000,000 times and crashes it through 100 buildings. I want to be able to see in full detail Vin Diesel's Bugatti fucking do 100 spins and kill 1,000 Muslim terrorists. Like, and I'm willing to pay $25 to do that. That's my verdict on this movie.
I want a .gif of the cast break.
The cast break, like, I don't, like, if I wasn't sold on buying the DVD before, once I saw the cast break, I'm like, well, there goes my $25.
Alright, we should end this video.
Alright. That's our thoughts on Furious 7. Thanks for watching, fellas.